because it's difficult for Syrian refugees to be allowed into America, my relatives, whose doors are open to them, are helpless. I would like to see that possibly changed. America has the most stringent security procedures in the world. People have no reason to fear these refugees. They are vetted and they're safe. We have to get past this fear. Not only because it's unfounded, because it's unhealthy for us. I have relatives in Syria, but I'm not in contact with them because they have left their homes, have been driven from their homes, and they're hiding in the hills or wherever they can, or they've tried to escape the country. How they're surviving, I have no idea. We've lost contact with them. Most Syrians who come to this country within 2 years are making $50,000 a year. And they're only getting assistance for the first 3 months of that time. They're not looking for any handouts. These are hard-working, serious people, serious Syrian people. I'm an example of that. What I've accomplished has been with some very good luck, but a lot of hard work. My uncles made themselves millionaires selling clothing, door to door, out of the trunk of their car. These are only a few examples of the contribution that Syrian Americans, Muslim Americans have made to this country and continue to make. There's nothing to fear from these people. There is a great deal to learn from them. The UN calls this crisis the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II. The Multi-Faith Alliance for Syrian Refugees speaks to that. The Multi-Faith Alliance for Syrian Refugees is really what America is about. We're talking about a united people coming together, Jews, Muslims, Arabs, Arab Americans, Christians, to do the right thing, to do the humanitarian thing. If the UN calls this the worst humanitarian crisis since the Second World War, I think we have to pay some attention to it. I think it's our responsibility. It's our privilege to do that. One of the ways, I think, to accomplish this ideal of living together, no matter what your faith, is not that we have to get along like brothers and sisters, but rather that we can have our own religion and at the same time stand in the same line in the grocery store. You don't have to love me, but you can put up with me. I don't want what you have. I have nothing to fear from you. And believe me, you have nothing to fear from me. To convince a film producer to make a movie that shows a Muslim as a compassionate human being, to show a Syrian refugee and how they're living, and how human they are, how essentially the same they are to you. That wonderful speech that I did as Shylock speaks for all of these refugees. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Syrian eyes? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you poison us, do we not die? Why does he hate me? Because I am a Jew. Why do they hate me? Because I am a Syrian. Because I am a Muslim. Because I'm a Mexican. Because I'm endless. When are we going to learn? But if we could do that, if we could put those words in a Syrian's mouth in a really good movie, I think that would accomplish it. What we need is a real good scriptwriter, a real good producer and director, and me as the star. We're damning them, we're condemning them, but not as human beings, as some kind of animal, something less than human. That's the problem. If we could make a movie that shows Syrians as people and not as animals, not as subhumans, not as terrorists, that would be a great thing, be a great step forward. These millions of Syrian refugees are fleeing the same terrorists that we fear. They are not terrorists. My father was just a young boy when he and his family escaped starvation in Syria and were welcomed to America. And since that time, his contribution to America was a way of saying thank you. Worked hard to feed his sisters and raise his sons. Put his sisters through college. Lost his two sons, U.S. Marines and regular Army. I can't begin to tell you how grateful he was for what America did for him. I think that if you and your family were thrown out of America, I think you would probably be grateful for the rest of your life to the country that took you in. I know you would. You know, in World War II, America was very slow to accept Jews in this country. And now, look at the enormous contribution that they've made. I ask America to do the same thing for these Syrian refugees. The returns will be forever. I'd like to mention that June 20th is World Refugee Day. Can we all work to erase that day from the calendar? I've always thought the slogan, "Never Again," should be amended slightly. I would like to see it become "Never Again to Anyone."